Necromaniacs podcast. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Necromaniacs horror podcast. How's it going, Mike?
It is going good. I guess this will be what'll probably amount to my birthday episode, because my birthday is next week, July
Oh,
22nd, and this by the time this hits, I'll be 52, the new 52, Mike Hill.
oh yeah, it's the 16th already today. Wow, damn, time's
Yeah, yeah.
flying, man.
Summer is in full swing. Um, but yeah, it's funny. I will be 52, and there are 52 Earths in the DC universe. And I was going to chat a little bit about the new Superman once we got rolling.
That's good because I want to see that movie actually. So I want to get your take on
I
it.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Mm.
Yeah. Hot as hell today up here, man.
Yes, it is. Before we hit the record button, we were talking about in our younger days our lack of air conditioner in our apartments, huh, Mike?
Oh, dude. I was telling you, like, but when I back in, I don't know, 2003 or whatever, I lived in what is technically is Bushwick, but the real estate people try to tell you it's Williamsburg, you know what I mean?
Yes, yes, yes.
And I didn't have an air conditioner, I just had a fan. My roommate had an air conditioner in his room, but that was him. But I was like, I had like a mattress on the floor,
Oh man.
about it was like a jail cell. It was like maybe 10 feet by like 4 feet or something like that. That was my room.
Yeah, when you met me in like '06, '07, I was living in like Gravesend, and I didn't have an air conditioner in my bedroom either. But things have changed, and there's an air conditioner in my bedroom, and there's one in the living room now. So thank God for air conditioning.
Yeah.
And thankfully, you and I have lived a little bit better of lives
Oh
as the
yeah, we
years have passed. Oh
we
yeah.
moved up in the world a little bit. Those are tough times.
Yes, at least a little bit. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how some people get by without it. I mean, I haven't been to Europe in a minute, and I've never been to Europe in the dead of summer. But from what I understand, a lot of places in Europe in the dead of summer have no air conditioning either.
I've been in Europe in the summer to do like some festival dates and stuff, and
Mhm.
the accommodations that you get, they have air conditioning, but it's not what you and I are used to here in the States.
Right,
Like
right,
it
right.
only
Yeah.
it only cools the room down to about 82 degrees or something like that.
A nice 80, 82. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely. But yeah, summer is rolling on, and gonna go to Atlantic City for a few days next week. Looking forward to that with Jane. And yeah, man, the 52. I feel 48. Let me tell you.
Well, congratulations on making it this far, man.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. I guess before we get going, let's just shout out the boys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So kicking things off, every other Monday, we've got Brandon Legion's Horrorwolf 666. Brandon and I are also doing Abraxas Horn. And my understanding is that we're going to be working on some new material in the next couple months. So I'm excited about that.
Oh, that's great, man. All right, all right. On Tuesday, we have the mighty Into the Necrosphere. Uh, Jackie and I sat down for the news rant on this week's episode of Into the Necrosphere. You should check that out. We talked a bit about the Back to the Beginning concert and a few other things. That was fun. Always a lot of fun to do the news with Jackie. And then keep your eyes and ears peeled for the episode that Mike and I did with Jackie, the 666 '80s thrash metal special, which will be out very soon, I believe. So definitely check that one out and subscribe to Into the Necrosphere.
Yeah, I
What about?
enjoyed uh, I enjoyed your news rant with Jackie this week, and
Oh, thank you, thank you,
yeah,
thank you
and
very much.
the breakdown of the Sabbath thing was really cool, and like I kind of agree about Phil Anselmo kind of being upstaged by Steven Tyler, man.
Yeah, I mean, from what I understand, Phil has a lot of like, back problems and whatnot, but I mean, I would gather everyone on that stage has a back problem. I mean, I don't know just how bad Phil's back problem is. But Steven Tyler's almost 80. And I mean, I don't know, man. I guess he's lived a bit of a different life than Phil, but shit, I would have guessed he's lived a way worse life than Phil
Yeah,
Anselmo, but
yeah,
I could be wrong. Um, I don't know, man. I'm not bashing the overall Pantera reunion. I actually think it's a good thing. I think there's shit tons of people that didn't get to see them in the 90s and early O's, and that's what this Pantera is for. But I maintain that they were up there looking like they were waiting for a bus, Mike Hill. I don't know,
yeah.
man.
No, I agree. Slayer, on the other hand, they stole the show, in my opinion.
Yeah, very punky, very like we don't give a fuck kind of set. Very like I don't know, there's something very cool about their set, and I appreciated the hell out of it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
We'll talk more about that later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Wednesday, Mike, what do we
Oh yeah.
got?
Wednesday is Everything Went Black, which is my personal podcast where we do a bunch of different things on there. And
Mhm.
but it's also the same day that Iblis Manifestations drops, which is the podcast produced by Cheyenne and the band Trivax, who are a great black metal band. And if you haven't done so yet, check out their brand new record this year.
Yes. The Great Satan, it's called on Osmos. Peep that shit. Uh, Thursday, kids. Why, it's the Necromaniacs podcast. You're listening to it right now. The best in horror from yesterday and today. Do you like that, Mike?
I do.
Yesterday and
I do
today?
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
Makes me think of Y&T, the
Yeah,
band
that's
from
right. YT, yesterday and
yeah.
today. And then I believe we also get another podcast on Thursday, the Thursday Soul Knocks, huh, Mike?
That's right. Carl Hikara brings you that. And he does 2 episodes a week, which is pretty ambitious.
Yes, it sure is. Friday, you get John Draper, my brother, along with his co-host Shaheen and Beast Show Brian, bringing you Spitball Media, a very cool entertainment website. They've definitely going to be talking about Superman extensively, I believe, on the next episode. John saw it yesterday. We've been playing phone tag. We wanted to talk about it. Haven't been able to reach my damn brother on the phone, but I'm sure I will some point in the next day or two to talk about Superman. He enjoyed it as well. But yeah, check out Spitball Media.
Saturday's a day off, but don't worry because Carl returns on Sunday for the second day of Soul Knocks. And we're doing the Darkness Weaves collaboration, which is we discussed the work of Carl Edward Wagner, and we're coming down to the wire, man. Wagner died a very young man, and
Mm,
unfortunately did not. He has a nice amount of stuff out, but there's a finite amount of material that's available by him. So
mm.
eventually, we were going to kind of come to the end of this project, but that's not for a few more months. But we're definitely coming down to the wire with that.
Where was Wagner from?
Missouri or Tennessee,
Missouri.
one of those places, somewhere in
Uh,
like the southern Midwest part of the country.
okay. Did he die as young as the Conan creator, or
Not
not necessarily
a
that young?
little bit older. I believe he was in his 40s when he passed away.
Okay,
But
interesting.
yeah, he lived. He was a wild man. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like a
Hmm.
wild man. So he, drinking, carousing sort of guy.
Gotcha. Interesting fella.
Yeah.
All right. And then that is your week, kids. The Horsemen of the Podcasting Apocalypse. Please subscribe to not only our show, but our buddies as well.
So what's the deal with Superman?
Okay. Um, I did enjoy it. I liked it quite a bit. My 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 beef with it is that, and this is something other people have said as well, is that he gets beat up a lot, this Superman.
Okay.
Um, and he needs help a lot for being Superman. However, at the very beginning of the film, it is established that he has only been Superman for 3 years. And he landed on, Earth 3 decades prior. I mean, it is set now. It is set in the present day, basically. Um, but it mentions something about the first metahuman being spotted, blah blah blah, and then the young Kal-El came to Earth 3 decades ago. There's a lot of threes, like James Gunn does this interesting thing about threes and the number 3 and 30, whatever.
Hmm.
And then he says that Superman has been active for just 3 years. So that's kind of early days. As some may know, it's not a Superman origin movie, which is kind of a good thing. It kind of puts you in the action right away. And then it says something about 3 seconds ago, Superman just got beat up for the first time or something like that. And then he comes kind of crashing and you get the opening scene. Um, but yeah, he does get his ass kicked a lot. I mean, Christopher Reeve didn't really get his ass kicked a lot, I would say. Um, he was more kind of like God, like to
Yeah.
me,
Well,
that version of
even
Superman.
in the comics, Superman, the only people who really were able to roughhouse with Superman were like cosmic, beings.
Right. And like Doomsday and a good handful of people. Zod is definitely,
Yeah.
one of his big opponents. Um, but yeah, I feel like in the next film, which obviously there is going to be a next film, they may want to revisit that whole thing. They may want to make him a bit more of like the alien god that he is. But other than that, he was actually a very good Clark Kent. I really liked Lois Lane. I really liked Jimmy character. I thought, Lex Luthor was good. I loved Crypto. Crypto, the dog, kind of steals the movie if you watch the movie. You may think so. And the inclusion of Mr. Terrific, who, if you're a DC Comics guy, he was in the JSA. He also kind of steals the movie. He's actually a bit more of a formidable hero to a degree than Superman is. And so is Guy Gardner, and so is Hawkgirl. So I don't know. I thought that's my one beef. Other than that, very entertaining, enjoyable superhero movie. And I'm looking forward to seeing what James Gunn does with all of this. I think it made almost 125 mil on the opening weekend alone. I think it'll do well overall. Um, some people definitely took way more criticisms with it than me just thinking he got beat up a little too much. But I don't know. I think you would enjoy it. Do you think you're going to see it in the theater?
Yeah, for sure I am. That was going to have to be a solo adventure for myself, I think.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
think Tina's going to want to go sit in a movie theater and watch that with me, but like that'll be like a Saturday morning matinee kind of thing. I'll run out and check it out on my own, definitely.
Nice.
But
Yeah, I
I want to
saw
see
with
it in the theater though, definitely.
I saw with Jane. She enjoyed it as well. We saw it at the UA movie theater in Sheepshead Bay. Definitely enjoyed seeing something in a movie theater. I hadn't been to a movie theater to see a movie in a minute. I think the last one was Long Legs, Mike Hill.
Oh wow.
Oh no, not Long Legs. It was Terrifier 2, actually. Terrifier 2 is the last one I saw in the theater around
Really? That's going.
October, November.
Wow.
Wait, was it 2 or 3? What was the most recent
Three.
one that came
I
out?
was
Three.
gonna say
Okay,
two was
Terrifier
like
3.
3 years ago. That
Okay.
was like 3 years ago.
Yes. Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Terrifier 3 was the last one I saw. Yeah, last year I saw Long Legs and the Terrifier
Yeah.
in the theater. Um, yeah, we didn't enjoy Terrifier 3. Sorry about that mistake. Um, but you know, I think I'm looking forward to seeing what's next. I want to see an eventual new Justice League movie, which apparently we're going to get, and he's going to recast Wonder Woman, and there's a lot of things planned. So hopefully all that shit comes to fruition.
You know what? It was always a good DC comic that I really enjoyed was the Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah, that was cool. That's I feel like that's something they would probably approach way down the line,
Yeah.
because it involves a lot of characters that the average Joe does not know, and they're trying to really, I think, establish the big guns first.
Sure.
Even though they've put Mr. Terrific and Hawker, who are not necessarily big guns, I think now that they've thrown them into this first Superman, like it's gonna shine a light on them, and like people will, you know, check them out, so to speak, and do their homework, or maybe or look into what they're like in the books. Um, So it was kind of an interesting decision to put some of those characters in there and not put members of the Justice League. But the Justice League hasn't happened yet as of this movie, like in that world, in that DC world. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what's next.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try to check this out while it's in the theaters. I saw a couple things
Mhm.
recently. So I caught the new Cronenberg film, The Shrouds.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's on Criterion. If you have the Criterion channel, you can watch it for free. And Jeff and I are going to do a podcast on it. So, I'll reserve my opinions about that movie till we record that episode. And then I saw another film, which we definitely have to do, called Bring Her Back.
But keep hearing about that.
Yeah.
So,
Now, if you guys remember, we hated their first movie. Um, that movie I thought was terrible. So when I found out that they had a new film coming out, I was like, oh, whatever, it's probably some bullshit, you know what I mean? But then I kept hearing how good it was and how disturbing and how like intense the movie was. And then I
Mm.
ended up renting it and I was like, you know what? It's a awesome movie, man. I'm kind of blowing myself up here, but like it definitely exceeded my expectations.
Where is it streaming?
You can rent it on like Prime and Apple and all that stuff, but I think it's going to be on like one of the other channels fairly soon.
Yeah, I want to see that. I heard it's really good. Um, yeah, talk to me. I was just like, it's all right.
It's
A lot of people love
180.
it.
It's so different. Very
Hmm.
much. It's completely the tone, everything about it is different.
What's the few sentence plot of Bring Her Back?
Well, it's almost like this kind of possession movie in a way,
Hmm.
um, where there's like a dead girl
Hmm.
and they're trying to bring her back
Hmm.
into
Okay.
another
Okay.
body.
All
So,
right.
the title says it all. But
Got it.
it really it just has such it's a heavy vibe in the movie, man. Really. Unlike their first film, Talk to Me.
Okay. Cool, cool. We'll
Yeah.
definitely be checking that out. Yeah, I I haven't been watching too much like horror related stuff. You know, I finally finished Daredevil Born Again, which was just like the one season, and I didn't realize that there was just 9 episodes in that. It kind of leaves you. It almost seems like it's like unfinished episode, like everything episode 9. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of ended very strangely, I thought, as opposed to how the other seasons end
Yeah.
with a little bit more of a bow on it, as they say. But I think that was kind of like on purpose because there is, in fact, definitely going to be another one. And I think it comes early 2026 or something like
Oh,
that.
cool. Yeah.
So looking forward to that. But I did enjoy it. I'm just glad Daredevil and Punisher are back in the mix in the Marvel, cinematic universe or whatever the hell it's called, because I don't like anything else in it. So
Yeah.
these are characters that I do enjoy. So yeah.
Well, Daredevil and Punisher are always my favorite characters, even just in the comics. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I loved Wolverine. I mean, and I loved kind of like that 90s kind of set X-Men and
Yeah.
when we had the shot back in the day, like the Civil War era was really good,
Oh
actually. I
yeah.
think that's
Yeah.
when Marvel was really, really making great comics across the board. And then I just feel like they lost the plot by the time we got well into the teens and late teens. But um you know, the movies and some of the other streaming stuff doesn't really do anything for me. So I'm very happy with Daredevil back in action.
Yeah, that was the Civil War era was excellent, man. I remember, Iron Man, Captain
Mhm.
America, like they all fed into this storyline and it was pretty great. And then it just
Yeah.
Matt
Oh yeah.
Fraction was the writer and
Hmm.
it just fell off a cliff after that, I think. And they kind of ruined Star-Lord in the Guardians of the Galaxy, in my opinion. I mean, I know everyone
Yeah.
loves him, but the character, the way he was written, was not at all like that. He's kind of this like brooding, like outsider, like character.
Yeah, and the Deadpool Wolverine movie that everybody loved so much. I mean, I said on the show I absolutely hated it and was just like, oh my God, when is this gonna end? It's just like one goof after the next, and I was just like, this just isn't for me anymore. Like I'm aged out of it, or I'm just like, I just don't appreciate how they've just made everything so like silly, you know? I don't know. Even though,
Yeah,
yeah, Deadpool was silly in the comics, there was just something cooler about it, and maybe a tad darker, or a tad more serious in the
yeah.
comics back then.
No, I
But
agree.
it's just not for me. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know. So no calls this week, but if you guys want to get at us on the phone, you can hit us at 908-913-0782, 908-913-0782, and drop us a line. So that gives us this week's episode, which, we're in the summertime, the dog days of summer, as they call it.
Mhm. Yes.
So it's appropriate that we hit Jaws 2, the sequel to last week's episode of Jaws.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water. Great tagline. A tagline that has lived on forever, huh?
absolutely, man. So we don't have Spielberg this time around. We've got director Jeannot Szwarc.
Jeannot Szwarc, I guess we'll call
Jeannot
it. Yeah,
Szwarc. Yeah.
Jeannot Szwarc. Yes. They wanted Spielberg to come back. Spielberg was like, "Nah, I made the definitive shark movie. I have no interest in revisiting
And I agree with him.
this."
I totally agree with that
Yeah.
sentiment, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, there's even a quote from back in 75, in October of 75, after the movie was a big hit, that said, making a sequel to anything is a cheap, carny trick. And he did not even respond to the producers when they asked him to direct Jaws 2. He like was just like, nope. He had no interest, and that he felt he had made the quote definitive shark movie, which he did.
Yeah.
Um, the thing is, he also added that the decision was influenced by the problems that Jaws faced during production. He goes, I would have done the sequel if I didn't have such a horrible time at sea at the first film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of went through hell, didn't really want to revisit it, but obviously was very happy with his original film. And the original director of Jaws 2 was a man named John D. Hancock that Universal had chosen to make this movie. And I was telling Mr. Hill before we got rolling, I wasn't super aware of this. I'm not, Mr. Jaws. Like I love Jaws 1 and 2, and I'm a fan of the franchise, but I learned a bunch in my research for this episode is that the original vision of Jaws 2 was going to be a very, very different movie, not the kind of wild, fun, you know, blockbuster movie that we got with Jaws 2. It was going to be a bit more dramatic and almost like Amity was like this post-apocalyptic town that was partially or half boarded up, and everyone had PTSD from the
Oh, wow.
first movie,
Yeah.
and it was largely about the Brody family, and just a really a different movie. And that movie had they shot a whole bunch of it actually in 1977 until the studios decided this was not what they wanted, and they fired Hancock and basically erased everything that he shot. Isn't that crazy?
I know. I would like to even just at least read the screenplay for something like that.
Yeah, that may exist out there. The thing is, like, I guess what there's some photographs and everything you can find. It's called this website, thedailyjaws.com, and it goes into more detail about what Jaws 2 was going to be. And then they ultimately decided, no, this is not what we want. And the studio hated the dailies, and they didn't like the tone of the movie. Um, and yeah, they went on to hire the new director, Jeannot Szwarc, and we got the Jaws 2 that we know and love today, Mr. Hill.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't seen any of his films actually. Um, I know he did Supergirl and a movie called Somewhere in Time. I mean, I've seen either one of those.
Yeah, I want to see Somewhere in Time. It has Christopher Reeve in it. I'd always heard that was actually a really good movie, so I may check that out on my to watch pile, you know.
Yeah,
Um, but there's I think there's a lot to like about Jaws 2. Obviously, we're going to
yeah,
get into it.
yep.
It is, it has the unfortunate task of coming out after the phenomena of Jaws 1, though, huh?
That's right. Written by Carl Gottlieb and Howard Sackler.
Mhm.
Um, was released June 16th, 1978, and the original Jaws was 1975, so it's shortly
Mhm.
after. It's almost like they might have gone right into production after the success of the first film.
Well, yeah, there like a sequel was always in the mix apparently, and it was even apparently in Roy Scheider's contract. Um, you know, Depending, I guess, on how well the original did and all that. But yeah, I mean, they wanted to get back in there because Jaws had just done so well, So they were developing Jaws 2 right away. Um, Budget of 20 million, but then I read somewhere it was more like 30, but it went on to gross $108 million, Mike.
A lot of money, especially back then.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, I guess, even without Spielberg, who went on to obviously do Close Encounters instead of this movie, it's the public was going to see this movie. I feel like no, I mean it didn't even matter if there was bad word of mouth. I feel like it was going to make money no matter what after how big Jaws was.
Yeah. Kind of a long film too. It's 116 minutes. That's for back then. It's a little bit on the longer side for sure.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And do you think it outstays its welcome at some point, or it kind of? I don't feel like it doesn't roll along as
No.
good as the original, but it's got a lot of action in like that last
Yeah.
40 minutes or so, huh?
Yeah. They could have advanced the story a little bit quicker, I think. I think a 90-minute cut of this film would have been good.
Hmm.
Because
Nah, I think you're right.
yeah, it's like a little there's like parts, especially there's a lot of kind of exposition for a film that doesn't really require a whole lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And then, there's kind of two or three movies in one here as well.
Yeah, exactly. So cast wise, we've got Roy Scheider reprising his role as Police Chief Martin Brody, as well as Lorraine Gary reprising her role as Ellen Brody.
Hmm.
We've got Murray Hamilton as the mayor, Larry Vaughn.
Hmm.
Jeffrey Kramer as Deputy Hendricks, who plays he's got a little bit of a role in here.
Yeah, he's also in the first one.
Yep. Um, we got a bunch of kids in this film, and we'll talk about that too, because this is like we got Ann Dusenberry as Tina Wilcox, Mark
Hmm.
Gruner as Mike Brody, Barry Coe as Tom Andrews, um, John Dukakis as Polo Loman, and actually, which I forgot which guy it was though. Isn't um the dude from 16 or Christine in this?
Yes, he
Yeah.
is. Keith Gordon as Doug Fetterman. Keith
Yeah,
Gordon. Yeah,
Keith Gordon.
absolutely.
Yeah, as Doug
And
Fetterman. Yep.
Dress to Kill. Oh yeah, man.
Yep. Yeah.
Went on to direct a bunch of episodes of like Breaking Bad. Very successful guy. Kind of
Yeah.
like Timothy Van Patten. Like him and Timothy Van Patten were like these early '80s actors who went on to be very big directors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting side note. We also have Donna Wilkes who plays Jackie Peters as like the cute new cousin girl. Jackie Peters, of course, is the star of the sleazy '80s 1984 gem Angel, Michael.
Oh
She's
yeah.
Angel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I almost did not recognize her almost.
Yeah, yeah. We should you know, as we discussed the other week via text, We might get into some more 80s sleaze movies, but the Angel series might be good to cover, actually. There's a series of Angel movies.
Yeah, I think that was on one of the Joe Bob Last Drive-In episodes.
Mm, yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's kind of unrecognizable here, but yeah, that is her, Donna Wilkes. So big cast.
So 4 years have gone by after the Great White is slain by our group of seafaring adventurers.
Mm,
Yeah. Um, so we're back at the sleepy town of Amity
mhm.
Island, somewhere in New England. I'm assuming by the Cape.
Yeah, yeah. It's a little confusing because then I was, watching some YouTube stuff about Jaws where somebody said it's supposed to be somewhere in Long Island, but I don't know about that because they made a reference to they'll go to Long Island. That I could have sworn somebody said in the original Jaws, but I think it is somewhere in New England, like you said.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, you can take ferries and stuff like from Connecticut and that part of Massachusetts to Long Island. So,
Mhm.
it's all part of that coastline. But, if you, to me, it feels like New England. So we'll go with
Yep.
that.
Yeah. And it kind of starts off somewhat similar to the original, where we get two victims. This time it's two deep sea divers who go down and find the remnants of the Orca ship, which was the
Yeah.
ship, of course, from the original Jaws. That was the name of the boat. And sadly, these two divers suffer a fate and are killed by the new Jaws, Jaws 2. We're going to refer to them as.
Yeah. And, right off the bat, there's a lot more violence in this movie, a lot more just like gore and, stuff like
Mhm.
that. Yeah. Than the first
Yeah, the
one.
body the body count's higher. But they also give you, some time before you actually see the shark, kind of similar to Jaws 1. Like you don't see him in that very opening scene. It is apparently it is not the same exact shark used, Bruce in Jaws, the original. They refer to this one as Bruce 2. Apparently, it was three new sharks used throughout the making of this movie, three new mechanical sharks. Um, I don't know. I feel like this one looks a little less real than the original Jaws Bruce. What do you think?
Well, you certainly see this one a lot more. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, I think that one of the things where Jaws 2 falls short is you see too much of the shark and you see the shortcomings. Like in the first
Yes.
one,
Okay. Hmm.
yeah, in the first film, he's obscured. You see him like kind of cruising through the water, and there's like that one awesome scene where you see him just kind of rise up from the depths, but it's like it's implied what you're actually seeing. Like you see this big shape, and then
Hmm.
there's the teeth, and that's it. That's all you need.
Right, 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 right.
But in Jaws 2, you actually see the shark more, and you clock it as being a fake shark.
Yeah, yeah, but I again, probably in '78, you were probably scared shitless
Oh
and,
yeah,
and having the time of your life in the
yeah,
theater.
yeah.
But yeah, they used three different ones for this one that, of course, had a host of problems, just like the original. Um, the next day after those divers are dead, there's a girl water skiing with another girl driving a boat, and they too get taken out by the Jaws. The water skier is kind of like, chomped on, and the girl on the boat, it's a very strange death. She ends up accidentally pouring gasoline on herself and
Yeah.
the fire. And the interesting thing about this one is that Jaws catches fire too, and throughout the rest of the movie, when they show him, he's partially mangled. Mike, there's a bit of a almost similarity to Halloween 2 there, where
Well,
Michael Myers is kind of burned up at the end, huh?
yeah.
With Jaws 2, Halloween 2, similar vibe, huh?
Well, we're going to get to this because this is one of the principal differences between this and the first film is that but let's give a little time frame too. Like this movie came out what, 2 or 3 years before Halloween?
Well, it's actually 3 months before
Oh, three
Halloween. It comes
months.
out June of '78. Halloween comes out, I believe, in October of 1978. Um, the slasher thing, the slasher explosion hasn't really happened yet in America. I mean, there's horror movies, but the real avalanche you get post the success of Halloween, said after the fact in 79, 80, into the early mid 80s. Um, this movie, though, Jaws 2, literally has complete slasher movie vibes. And it's almost like it's a slasher movie, only it's set on the beach and it's a shark and not a serial killer, right?
Yeah, and also the shark is more of like a monster in this one. Like we were talking about how it got like, burned up and it's kind of disfigured, you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
where in the first one, like I was saying in the last episode, how it's like a man against nature, like this kind of Jack London like story, Hemingway-esque adventure.
Yeah.
But in
Hmm.
this one, it's like you got teenagers, you got a high body count, and you
Hmm.
have like and then this monster cruising through the shallows of the ocean, like killing people.
Yeah, this Jaws 2, for all of its hijink teen beach movie moments, does have a darker, meaner tone. I mean, there are scenes. I mean, the scene where the girl just gets eaten in front of the younger Brody child is terrible. Like,
Yeah.
like it's like holy shit. Um, there are some very harsh kills in this movie. But again, it's kind of sandwiched in between this there's of course a bit of the drama with Brody and his PTSD. That is a good part of this movie, and I think that's where the movie excels, right? And that's a positive. But there's a lot of kids. There's probably too many teenagers in this movie, Mike. Don't you think?
Well, that's what made me think, of the slasher genre and like
Right.
Friday the 13th and like summer camp. Like there's a very summer camp vibe to this film where there's like all these like young kids, getting into trouble and like, these like guys and girls trying to hook up and we got like the spurned like dorky kid, that kind of thing. It's like very very much like the tropes of like like Friday the 13th or something like that, like, sleepaway camp kind of vibe.
What's really funny is I was going to bring up Meatballs, but this is even before Meatballs, the 1979 Bill Murray comedy about the teenagers at a summer camp.
Yeah.
This even predates that. So Jaws 2 is really ahead of the curve here, huh?
Yeah.
Curve.
Yeah, definitely, and so yeah, there's that and then these kids exist to get like like killed basically, you know what I mean? They're just
Yes,
these
very much.
these bodies in waiting, so there's that, and but what's kind of cool is they find a killer whale on the
On beach.
beach, and Brody applying some of the knowledge that Hopper gave him about
Hmm.
like the bite pattern and like the circumference of the bites and
Yep.
he's actually able to like determine that a shark killed the whale.
Mm.
Because like he's like, oh, you have to look at the bite pattern here and this dimensions across the scarring and all that sort of stuff. It's pretty interesting.
And sure enough, what do you know? He goes to Mayor Vaughn and the heads of the town with the information. Hey, we have a shark again. This whale was killed by a shark. And of course, Larry Vaughn strikes again and it's like, don't press the issue. There's summer tourism and new development,
Dude.
blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, man. He's apparently, all the deaths a few years
Yeah.
prior were not enough to persuade the town to not vote for him again.
Well, that's another thing. I think in this viewing of the film, when that came up again with Vaughn not learning his lesson from all the
Mhm.
carnage that happened a few years ago, I was like, man, come on, bro. Like you didn't learn from the first time that you should listen to this guy, and it's like it happened
Yes.
once before. It seems a little bit unrealistic to me that he would be so blatantly ignoring him, about this.
Yes. Well, the original version of the film was going to go more into what Vaughn's life was like after Jaws 1. And it wanted to bring in some of that mob thing from
Oh,
the
right.
Jaws original book. It wanted to really capture what a town would be like what is it, five people, four people were killed by a shark, and just how fucked up everybody was and how it ruined the town actually, and it ruined the people in the town. But we got this Jaws instead.
But
This Jaws 2
you don't
instead.
get a sense at all in this version of it. Everyone's like they're acting like nothing happened. Even like the young people, it's like they're just like, oh
Mm.
yeah, let's rage out there on the ocean, on our boats.
No, you don't actually. And you don't get much character development from most of the young people. I actually think Brody's two children, Sean and Mike, the actors who play them, are pretty good.
Yeah,
Um, and some of the young girls are actually pretty good, but you don't get a lot of meat, quote unquote, that you got in the original Jaws. But again, I think it's just overloaded with fucking actors and actresses,
yeah.
and it is what it is. And I think they are there to be eaten and terrified and killed, and
Well, in the first movie, like I said, you got that triumvirate of Quint, Hopper, and Brody out on the ocean together, and it's like, and all three of those characters had such rich like backstories. Like they were like, you know, fully developed like characters. And that's a lot of the film was about their interaction, you know. And in this one,
Uh,
it's just like we're going through the numbers, we're racking up bodies, action. We got a monster shark, that kind of thing.
yeah, I also learned in that original Hancock version, that script, what do you call it? What's his name? Who dies? Robert Shaw's
Yeah,
character.
Quint.
Quint's son comes to Amity
Oh,
to take care of his father's affairs, and you learn about the son. And I mean, all that shit would have been really like interesting, don't you think?
yeah, it would have made more of all right, basically this film is like a whole new cast of characters, but with just the Brodies and
Mm,
the mayor kind of like overlaid on top of it. You know what I mean?
right.
I mean, there is one section where Brody tries to reach out to Hopper, who's out,
Yes.
in or Hooper rather. I was calling him Hopper. His name's Matt Hooper, who's he's out in like Antarctica or something like that, in a boat. So, but it almost they're not filling the gaps. Like it didn't feel like a continuous kind of it didn't feel like a continuation of the first film. It just felt like they were taking the idea and kind of regurgitating it and rearranging it a little bit because it's kind of the same movie except with more kills.
Yeah, in bits and pieces they pick up from the OG. But largely, I think you're right. I thought that the phone call to Hooper was really cool, and that he was unreachable, and I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Um, there's no mention at all of Quint in this particular film. I mean, I know he's dead, but
Right. But
again, it's missing the drama, and I don't think the Universal wanted much drama here. I think they were kind of going for like big, 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 and look, they
yeah.
succeeded. I think they succeeded. I actually really do like this movie,
Yeah.
and I
I
have
mean,
fun watching it. It's just not. It's not the film, quote unquote, of Jaws.
right. I mean, what I would have liked is if they had Quint in like some flashbacks or something like that. Because you got to admit, like he kind of loomed large over the first movie. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally.
And
Yeah.
it would have been cool if there was like some flashbacks to what happened and applying it to the new shark threat.
Mm.
But whatever.
Um.
I'm getting
No. Yeah.
too yeah, I don't want to sound too negative about this movie, but that's kind of my like, peeves, I guess.
Yeah, I was Universal didn't, set fire to the Hancock filming that apparently they did. I don't know what they did, but they literally, you know, like threw it away or something. It's gone. It's like gone from film history, which is
Yeah.
pretty wild. Um, so yeah, we've got the shark. I mean the whale that is beached, and he's absolutely convinced that it was a shark because, well, it was a shark that killed it. Um, the other interesting thing is early on in the movie, those two divers had a camera
Yeah.
with them and they were taking photographs. That camera is retrieved but it kind of sits for a little while until Brody has Hendrix, hey, why don't you develop it? Maybe there's something on there. You know what I'm saying? And sure enough, there's pictures of the shark, and Brody brings those pictures to the town. And of course, no one in the town could see what he could see and the audience could see, which is the shark's huge eye. And just, it's a shark. I mean, a blind person can see it's a shark, right?
I thought that was cool. That's like one of that's a really cool part of the movie is the film
Yes.
developing and the eye. And
Mhm.
it's like it's kind of scary that part.
No, definitely. I mean, the movie definitely has scares. It's even more of a horror movie in a way than the original
Yeah.
is. But I think some people who don't appreciate this movie, I think they're just kind of missing that kind of you know, those major characters, and I think they're missing some of the drama and some the quality, that Spielberg quality that is missing from this movie. But I don't know, like I just kind of take this movie for what it is.
Right.
Um, and I don't even really compare it that much to the original because I do overall like it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, of course. So Brody with his apparent I'm gonna say not it's not even really paranoia, but with his like cautiousness,
Mhm.
doesn't want his son to go into the ocean with his friends, and but that must be hard because it's summertime and they live in a
Mhm.
beach community. So Mike Brody, he goes against his father's wishes and he goes sailing with his friends, of course, you know.
And Sean sees him, the younger brother Sean, who's of course in the first movie as well.
Yeah.
He sees him kind of sneaking out and is like, "Take me with you," and he doesn't want to, and of course he takes him with him, which was probably a big mistake
Yep.
because Jaws runs amok. All the teenagers go out on these little kind of, I mean, they're not really, I mean, well, some of them are boats, but some of them are, I don't know what you would call them. They'll have like these flotation
Yeah.
devices
I
and like
bel
this kind of like canvas material in between them. Like
I
they're kind of like,
believe that's called a catamaran.
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go. Uh, I would not be on a major ocean in one of those fucking things. Gotta be honest.
Yeah, it seems a little makeshift to me if you ask me to be out in the ocean with
Yes.
that.
It
Yeah.
seems like you're asking for trouble, but I was not raised on an island. I'm not, that it's not my bag. One of the funniest things in this movie was the fact that a bunch of high school kids were in a bar hanging out drinking. Wasn't that funny?
Well, it's '70s, man, and I
Yes.
think you could walk right into back then. No one cared about anything,
That's
And actually,
true,
I think in
man.
the '70s, the drinking age was 18.
Right,
Well,
right.
in
And
New
they're
York State,
all
it was. Yeah,
yeah, and they're all probably like 17 and bars didn't care. If it, like when I was 20, they didn't care at all the bars I went to that I wasn't 21. They kind of just I was just let the fuck in, honestly. Um, and that was just how it was in the early 90s, and I'm sure in the 70s it was even worse.
in the '80s, I went to see a couple of shows at the Ritz, and I walked right in, and I was only about 16 years old.
Oh man, like, and of course, since it's the 70s, a lot of these teenagers look 30 anyway. So yeah, it's they, a lot of them look well beyond, a junior or a senior in high school, because that's just what people looked like back then. So that's fun to recognize too.
I would
Um,
like to have seen more development with Fetterman, with Doug Fetterman.
hmm,
You know,
yeah, I agree. I mean, the movie is long,
yeah,
right? And instead of developing certain characters or more backstory, you just get more shark and you get more kills and you get more action in the water. No?
yeah, yep, you do.
Mm, hmm. But there's a great scene before this where Roy Scheider's character, Chief Brody, of course, takes out his gun and opens fire into the water because he thinks a shark is coming to kill everyone, but it's just a school of bluefish. That's one of my favorite parts of this movie too.
And there's even like some kids that are in the line of fire too, while he's like unloading on this like
Yes.
school of fish.
Oh, a little, and like leading up to that, he's in the Shark Tower, and these people who want to kind of move to the community are asking the mayor questions like, "Oh, what is that?" And it's an observation deck, and the girl goes, "No, it's not. It's a shark tower. They have them in Florida. He's looking for sharks." That was funny. No, it's a birds it's for birds,
For
bird
birds.
sanctuary
Yeah.
in nature. Vaughn is the best, man. I wanted more of Vaughn.
Yeah, more of Vaughn would have been good too.
Yeah, he's not in a lot of this actually, but he actually is in the top three billing on the poster. Hmm.
Yeah, I know. He doesn't play a big part in this film.
Not at all, but I guess I mean, yeah, Murray Hamilton's name is on the poster. Interesting. Hmm. Hell, it should be the Shark's name instead
Yeah.
of his. Bruce too. So yeah, I mean, this much like in the original, you get this other movie when the three of them are out in the boat. You kind of get this horror movie once all the kids are out in the ocean, huh?
Yeah, and that's where we get into like the Camp Silver Lake aspect of this movie, where then now we have a film with just teenagers getting killed by a shark.
Yes, but there's some really good moments. I
Yeah, no,
mean,
it's good moments.
I I mentioned the one where the young Sean and the girl who was who kind of took him on her boat. You know, you don't know much about that girl, but she just gets eaten like alive. It's like pretty fucking sick moment. And then there's this couple who's always kind of making out and
Yeah.
hooking up, right? The weirdest thing about that is that he gets killed, and she is so traumatized she doesn't even try to help him at all. Eddie, his name is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was noticing that too, man. She probably could have got him out of the water, but she was just like completely like immobilized.
Yeah, a good chunk of this movie is the characters Eddie and Tina making out and trying to bang. And they're in the boat together, and Jaws smashes the boat. And yeah, she is so fucked up. She just lets her boyfriend just get eaten. That's another pretty fucking dark scene.
Yeah.
Hmm. Um, like I said, I'm enjoying the horror movie aspect at this point in the movie. Um, the other crazy, I guess, murder set piece in the film is when the helicopter comes and they
Yeah.
think they're all about to get rescued by the helicopter, and Jaws just comes up and fucking eats the helicopter. That was a great scene.
Yeah, that's definitely a memorable scene in the movie. Everyone's like excited. Oh, we're going home here. They're gonna get towed back to shore. And of course the shark has other plans for them.
Yeah, and for 1978 practical effects, that's a very good scene. No?
Yeah, no, totally, man. And it's like I know earlier on I said how the shark looked fake, but the shark
Mhm.
still looks sick though. It's not like it's the same way that like in camera effects look cool, even though you're not looking at something real. But
Mhm.
it's a good looking shark for sure.
No, totally, totally. I I mean, if you were like watching this movie first time in the theater in 78 and the helicopter comes, you might have thought the movie, was going to end soon. Nope. Holy shit. Yeah. Like the body count, again, it's definitely like double at this point what the original was. But that's kind of like keeping you along, and you want to see what's going to happen to all these kids. We've lost a few of the kids. There's still a bunch of them still alive. The Brody sons are still alive. They're definitely completely traumatized. They're trying to make it to this island cable junction. Earlier in the movie, we see that there is this tremendous power cable at the bottom of the ocean in Amity. Now, you're a mechanical engineer. Are there big
Yeah.
cables at the bottom of the ocean?
Well, not only that, no, they're like usually encased in concrete in a thing called a
Mm,
called a duct bank. So
okay.
so that doesn't happen.
Yes. I mean, a large shark in Rockaway could take one of those things out.
Yeah, so that,
Um,
right there
yeah,
was like a little bit of a, stretch.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, they did like a bit of a foreshadowing thing, when at one point the boat kind of drags it up earlier in the film, and he's like, "No," Hendricks is like, "No, drop it. That's we don't want to cause a blackout on the island." And of
Yeah, can you
course, it
imagine
comes back.
that? Like some fisherman like snags like the one power cable that powers the entire island and you get a blackout. Like that's it's ludicrous, you know.
Um, so Brody heaves up the cable, and there's one thing he knows how to do. It's kill a shark. He's out in the ocean. He's trying to rescue his kids, trying to rescue all the crazy teenagers. Um, and it is also mentioned earlier in the film that sharks are attracted to noise, right? Something like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
like sounds in the ocean. So what he does is he takes a paddle from the remnants of the boat and starts whacking on the this tremendous power cord, and the shark is kind of distracted from chomping on teenagers and goes for Brody. Um, and basically you get somewhat of a similar demise, whereas in the original it was those cartridges in the shark's mouth, and Brody shot the cartridge and the shark exploded. This time around, the shark tries to, snack on Brody, and he gets the tremendous power cable in his mouth and gets electrocuted and set on fire. What'd
Yeah,
you think of that scene?
I love that scene actually. That scene was sick. It's like, yeah, I'm like, because we're straight up in a horror movie at this point. And I'm like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
this is like some Michael Myers like stuff, you know?
It is like Michael Myers, like Jason kind of stuff, and it predates that, which is wild. You know, and I think that's why a lot of people do actually like Jaws too, because they see a lot of, slasher parallels, and it kind of reminds them of all the great movies that came out in its wake, right?
Definitely, definitely. Yeah. So we got Sheriff Brody, Shark Killer.
Yeah, yeah. And the shark dies, and all the teenagers are celebrating, and you know, uh, the movie is basically over. Um, and like again, look, you're not getting the Steven Spielberg quality of Jaws. There's no Quint, there's no Hooper, and there's not that character development, right? But you're getting a huge body count, you're getting a lot of shark, you're getting a lot of blood, and it's an exciting movie, you know? I mean, it's not a boring movie by any means.
No, not at all. I mean, and I know that maybe in this discussion, it might have come off like that I didn't, I didn't really care for the film, but I did like the movie. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It's just that some of the stuff that, we talked about, it uncovered some things that I thought were a little bit lacking in the film, you know?
Yeah, and I almost feel like I wish there could have been some kind of happy medium with that old trashed version of Jaws 2 and this version, where you got a lot of that development and that kind of drama, but the teenagers still kind of get out in the water, and they still got to be saved, and there's still a body count. That sounds kind of interesting, no?
Yeah, definitely, and but yeah, they're two different films. You really can't
Mm.
compare them. I mean, it would have been nice to have some more connective tissue between one and two, like,
Mhm.
narratively. But,
Mm.
it's a slasher movie, man. And like around that time, so Black Christmas came out in 74, Texas
Mhm.
Chainsaw Massacre came out in 74. So there was
Mhm.
like that was starting to come into the into the consciousness of your moviegoers, like that sort of thing, and
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have to look and see what else has happened horror wise. Obviously, there's The Exorcist. And there's a lot of that like dark 70s ghost horror that's happened already.
yeah,
But the body count stuff is just about to begin, like literally in this calendar year in America. Okay. In
right.
Italy, it's already happened,
Yeah.
obviously. But in America, it's about to really jump off. So, you know, it's a pretty important movie in a weird way. What do you score Jaws 2 on our scale of 1 to 5?
That's going to surprise some of you guys, but I gave it a 4 out of 5. I did enjoy it. I was having fun watching it. Just
Hmm.
talking about it made me seem maybe a little bit less enthusiastic, I guess.
Yeah, it's a four. Hell yeah, it's a
Yeah.
four for me. I mean, it's a fun horror movie. It could have been trimmed down. It could have had perhaps some less teens, but I think they were important in their role. Um, this movie it's kind of weird. It comes out in the wake of Grease and in the wake of Saturday Night Fever, and movies are like a really big deal now by in this time period. And this movie was a big deal. It was
Yeah.
another big deal. Yeah.
Yeah. So one and two are good. I have not seen any of the sequels past Jaws 2.
See, I saw three in '83 in the theater with the 3D glasses and
Oh,
everything.
wow.
Um, you know, uh, what can I say about Jaws 3? It's fun kind of trash, you know. It is it is not as good as one and two, but a part of me thinks, I don't know, part of me thinks maybe we should talk about it because it's
Oh,
kind of outlandish.
all right.
Um, and we have we had a listener ask if we were going to cover the quote franchise.
Oh, man.
So,
How many,
we may
how
have
many,
to do what we have to do.
how many Jaws movies are there in total?
Oh, there's four. There's
Oh,
only
okay.
four.
Oh, that's not too bad. I could do two more shark movies. Yeah.
Yeah, we could definitely do two more shark movies. Um, yeah, and I had the experience of seeing this in the theater at the Oceana Theater in Brighton Beach, Michael.
Nice. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think I've seen three, but now that you mention it, maybe I did see it. I just don't remember it too well.
It's got a young Dennis Quaid and Lou Gossett Jr. It's
Hmm.
very interesting. And it's set in Florida. So,
Oh,
but
okay.
it
So we're
does
not,
follow the Brodies. It does follow the Brodies.
Roy Scheider's not in it though, right? He's
No
finished.
Schneider and no Lorraine Gary. No, no.
Yeah. They
Mhm.
make a nice couple, I think.
They do, huh?
Yeah.
They're believable. They
Yeah.
have a believability.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah. They got a nice chemistry in those two films.
Yeah, she's a very good actress. Of course, he's a great actor. There's something about them in the two movies that absolutely works. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're okay, kids. We're gonna do Jaws 3 and we're gonna do Jaws the Revenge. So strap in. Um, yeah, but yeah, I don't know what you're gonna think of those two movies, but
Yeah.
we have to do what we have to do for the show, kids. Yeah.
Actually, it's a pretty nice like summertime thing to do, I guess, to do the four Jaws movies.
Oh, and we've never done them, obviously. I mean, we don't do any repeats here on Necromaniacs, but we've never done them, and I think it's good to just do them.
Yeah.
Well, all right, that wraps up Jaws 2. We hope you enjoyed this return to the waters in the same way we did.
Right on. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll catch you next week. Take care.
Cheers.